So India continue to put the pressure in spite of having won the series. Day one of the third test at Indore, it's pretty much gone their way. 267 for 3. Virat Kohli amongst the runs, the first 100 of this series. And we saw a new look, Gautam Gambhir. All that and a little bit of why Cheteshwar Pujara should be worried here on ESPNcricinfo match day at the end of day one. Not very worried because he's done well in the series, Ajit. But let's talk about Gautam Gambhir. Man, you've played so much cricket with. Came out looking a little different when he got into position. What have you made of the new Gautam Gambhir stance?
Yeah, I mean, big day for him. You know, when you making a comeback after 2 years, I'm sure lots of pressure. He knows, time's not on his hands. He's obviously opened his stance up a lot. It's probably to do in England. He got out a couple of times, getting cramped in his body. Maybe that's one of the reasons. But the other reason is probably, he wants to stay balanced. But what's happening? If I was a bowler and you're standing right in the stumps, you're always vulnerable. If you're not, if you make a mistake, 9 out of 10 times the ball is going to hit the stumps. What Bowl did to him, you bowl that length, his foot doesn't come out that far. One of the other reasons I can think of is maybe to get inside the short ball. I mean, he took on the short ball a couple of times this morning, and that's instead of getting cramped here, he wants to stay inside the line and actually play that shot. So multiple reasons. I think he'd probably be the best one to tell you why he's done that stance, but I think it's probably to keep the balance. I think there are a lot of things that the bowlers can exploit, especially because if you bowl up to him and in the wickets, he's always going to be vulnerable. If he misses the ball, he's always going to be in the stumps.
Yeah, we saw what Trent Bolt of all the bowlers gave him the most difficulty. Hardly didn't get more than a run against him. And we just look at the way Trent Bolt bowled to him. The lengths which were important when you're playing with that kind of stance, left arm over, foolish length, and the feet just don't go anywhere.
Yeah, because his trigger movement, his first movement is the leg, the back leg's not, I mean, he's already in the stump, so he doesn't need to get too far across. It's going back, and he never had a big stride in any case. And now, because that foot's going back, he's not getting too far forward outside the crease, and that leaves you vulnerable. I mean, he's not a tall guy either. Those are the lengths that you bowl in India. You generally, once you get the ball full, and if he misses the ball, he's always likely to be in trouble with the way he's set himself up at the moment. I mean, outside off, the short ball, he can get on top of it or try and hoik these ones. But something in the stumps, he's always going to be a little bit vulnerable.
It's only 29 or 53, but at least it's given us so much, something new to talk about. Otherwise, it's only been about Pujara, Kohli and Rane. Unfortunately, we're going to talk about them again. But Virat Kohli, 100 after we were saying he was short of runs. Big innings for him personally, you'd think?
Yeah, it just shows how determined the guy is. I mean, he doesn't, I mean, everyone tries to be the best they can. This guy wants to be. He's had a couple of failures. He's not had a great sort of consistent run in Test cricket apart from that Australian series. He's had good scores and a couple of low scores. So it was an important innings, right sort of conditions to find. Keeps winning the tosses, which is great for his team. But once he gets in, he's a hard batsman to get out. Not only that, runs will never stop with a guy like him. But it was more the determination. I mean, the balls that he's played today to get to that 100 tells you he wanted of course he wants to score 100 every innings, but just picking the right ball, not rushing. Even though the conditions were in his favour, he had to work hard for them, especially when you're slightly out of form.
Yeah, partnership of 167 with Ajinkya Rahane will be looking to get his 100 tomorrow after ending day one on 79. Quick word on Cheteshwar Pujara, some numbers that we've dug out. Pujara in the early part or the first half of his career used to be prolific on converting a start to a big score. 600s in his first 950 plus scores. In the last 8, Ajit, just the one. Scores of 87, 462, 78. So he's got runs in the series. But by Pujara's standards, is there something that he should be careful about?
I'm sure he must be kicking himself. You saw the first test that he got out, cotton bowl 60 odd. And I haven't seen Pujara that upset ever on a cricket field. He smashed his bat into the ground. You can see he's the sort of guy who gets, you can see the stats, his conversion rate early on. Of course, he's a little bit more under pressure. Opposition knows what he does and accordingly plan. Early on in your career, maybe you get away with a few things. But he'd want to convert those things because when you're in good form and getting to 80 and 70 already, you want to make one of those count and get 100 because getting a test 100 is very, very difficult. I mean, you've seen Virat Kohli nearly got around 99, would have kicked himself today. But yeah, those numbers show a massive contrast in how he started his career. He'd want to convert them because he's known to get those big runs.
All right, thank you, Ajit. Looks like big runs for India on the cards as they end with 267 on day one. Remember, Hyundai Crick Jockey is still up and running, so do log on to the website hyundaicrickjockey.com, and we've got something special lined up as this series goes on that space. We'll see you again at the end of day two with Ajit for the analysis.